Hey Renee, how's it going?
Hey Phil, it's going okay. Kinda
So
bad.
everybody's been bugging us to get a girl on the podcast,
Yes,
and we finally did it.
yes,
You know what happened?
yes. I pooched the screw.
Gremlins ate
Yep.
the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the podcast. We even went long. We had a very attractive woman on, and you ate it. You blew it.
That's why it happened. It was fate. It was kismet. It was karma.
So here's the deal, everybody. We're missing 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the video with myself and Jerry and Ashley Esqueda. Sucks, but that's the way it is. So if you look down on this page right here, if you're on our podcast page anyway, you can listen to the entire thing. We've got all the audio. That's not a problem. We're just missing some of the video. So we're going to put what we have right here. You can listen to it, watch it, enjoy it, listen to it twice, watch it twice. But we're missing a little bit. So if you want to get the whole thing, get a listen to the audio only version, and then maybe flip back over to the video. So Renee, say you're sorry.
I am very, very sorry, Android Central Nation.
Don't let it happen again.
All right, hit the video. Arr.
See ya.
I actually it's like a cosmetic thing for me. I just like it I like to see my nice lock screen wallpaper and nothing else. And the thing is if I'm going to turn my phone on, I might as well just unlock it and do all the things.
I'm not gonna do it. Can't make me do it. What else? You want to talk about the best international Android phone you can buy? So Alex did up our international post. Yeah, I know we kind of did. Didn't we? Oh no, I
Oh snap!
I see what Jerry just did. No, I am in agreement with Alex. I think the best one probably is the Galaxy S3.
Galaxy S3 doesn't run Android, baby.
Oh,
Android doesn't have SD cards, menu buttons, or physical buttons.
You're
Nexus
right.
4, all the way.
You're gonna go with Nexus 4.
I disagree with you personally, but taking everything into consideration, it's not a bad choice. And look, I don't think anything we have on this list
I didn't say it was a bad choice. No. It's a
Right.
great freaking choice.
We've said it. I think every week we've said it. Everything on this list is good. I mean, when was the last
they're
time
all
we saw
good.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's awesome that we can have a list of a whole bunch of phones that are, amazing. If the Nexus 4 came in a 32 gigabyte variant, I would say the Nexus 4. But I am the kind of person who I'm literally, today I literally downloaded 4 gigabytes worth of games onto my tablet. So I have a serious problem and I'm trying to work on that, but I need more storage space.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it today is Renee and Dieter and I think John Gruber were going back and forth over back buttons. And they referred to that old Android police thing from September about things that should be improved. And I got to thinking just very briefly, because the back button's been broken for a long time. I mean, that's not new.
But
that's not
the back button was
Jelly
fixed
Bean.
in Jelly Bean. Developers just won't do it.
Right. That's part of the problem. I still think there's a bigger issue there, and that there's just kind of a lack of continuity about how things are done. Whether your app has this big back button in the top left, like say the music app, or whether you have more in the overflow button in the 3 dots.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have the back button that does other things. So it's like, which and you kind of get a feel for what app does what as you use them. But I tell you what, if I was going to significantly change, I mean, this is fundamental stuff. You cannot change this overnight. I don't even think you can change it in a year. It's a big thing.
No.
Like Jerry just said, developers aren't on board yet. That's bad. Hardware manufacturers are not on board yet. If I was going to, change a fundamental aspect of this operating system, first thing I would do is take it out of hardware. And that's what they've done. They said, you know what? We're going to start making Android with these software buttons and the software back button.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can control it and it will do what we want it to. It's going to be a long process, and they're not going to fix it quickly. And they might not even fix it right at all. It's a tough thing.
And because of the open nature, whether you want to argue open or not, it might not ever get fixed.
It might not.
No.
That's something we all always need to remember is that anybody, Phil, Ashley, and myself, we could get together. If we found $5 million tomorrow, we could create a line of Android phones and do whatever the hell we wanted with them.
Yep.
And nobody can say anything about it.
Right. Where's our $5 million? We gotta do that. That seems like a really good idea.
You two can just give me my share. You all make a phone. I'll be somewhere with my feet on some warm sand.
I just want to see, like, I was really hoping that, like, Cyanogen would win the Powerball so that they could make their own line of phones, because that would be the best thing ever. I would just love to see them make hardware. It'd just be so cool.
I think you would find $5 million gets you through, like, a week.
Well, no, I mean the Powerball, like, so, you know, $550 million. Like, that would be that's a good enough, you know, you could make, we should do a Kickstarter. They could make $500 million in Kickstarter, right? That's the thing. We could charge $1,000 per entry.
Early this morning, SwiftKey Flow finally hit beta.
It's so good. It's so good.
I've been using it for a little while now. It's SwiftKey is the keyboard I use, so I hesitate to talk too much because you know, I know those guys and they're good guys. But it's the keyboard I use on a daily basis, so I didn't want to be overly fanboyish about it. And I tell you what, I'm not sold on the swiping thing. You know, I used swipe for a long time, but for me, my brain just works with seeing the letters I know what I'm typing. My thumbs are good to go. But I think that's the really nice thing about this is you don't have to use it if you don't want to. You can totally turn it off in the settings if it really bothers you that much. You know, and you still have the prediction. And for me, it was always less about the prediction because I know what I want to type and I'm just going to type it. But the keyboard itself and the layout of the keyboard and the UI, and especially for me, the secondary functions, so the long press, their timing on the long press is better than anybody. Better than anybody.
It's really good. And you know, the one thing I really like about it is I'm a thumbs typer, and my husband uses swipe. But now we can use I can recommend SwiftKey to him, and he likes it better than we both have Evos. So it's amazing how they've sort of made it able to have a completely different user experience that's still really solid with SwiftKey Flow. I just think it's really good. Right. Like I used to use thumb keyboard, like that was my go-to, and I still every now and then I go back to it, but I still am not. I'm not desperate to, you know, it's like I haven't found the right keyboard yet, and I really feel like SwiftKey Flow is kind of it's the closest I've seen to like a great keyboard for me that I won't switch back and forth from.
I'm impressed that they put such a big, huge new feature in it, and it didn't affect anything else because I can't stand swiping keyboards. But like Phil, I use SwiftKey, but I like the prediction. I like to be able to text my wife just by pressing 4 little buttons. And they added in this flow, and of course I played with it, and it works well enough, in my opinion, and it didn't affect the way I normally use it at all. So
they've been excited about it for a long time, you know, bugging me like every day. So it's really cool to see it come to fruition, and for everybody else to get to try it. I like it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it. It's a free upgrade too, by the way. So, you know, if you don't want it, you know, it's
worth
not going to cost you anything extra. It's not like
try it out.
What they're working on. By all means, try it out.
You should absolutely try it out. Because honestly, like I said, I've really loved thumb keyboard for a long time, and this is like, I mean, it's so good. Really enjoying it.
So there's that. What else? We already talked about Falcon. Starbucks was updated for Android 4.2. Hooray!
Finally for everybody, like iOS and Android. I mean, they just kind of dragged their feet on it. So it's like, it's about time, guys.
Do you want to talk about Microsoft screwing up bad the other night?
Can we please talk about it, just because it is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Tuesday night, I'm a couple glasses of wine into this nice bottle, and I hop back in the bedroom to see what's going on Twitter real quick, and I see Windows Phone, who says, "Tell us about your droid rage. Android is full of malware. Tell us about your droid rage. We'll make it better for you.
Tell us your Android malware horror stories. Use the hashtag droid rage."
No, they didn't just go there.
What? Windows, the original inventors of malware. I mean, come on, you guys. What are you doing over there? It's the most ridiculous. I just can't even. My brain could not wrap around that.
Oh, they finally started retweeting people's responses, but only the ones.
Only the nice ones, of course.
Windows is malware.
Yeah, it's a virus. It's a terrible parasite It's a blight upon
And
the
it-
land. I just
It takes money from you. So yes, it's malware. It's it fits the definition of malware.
Let me read these tweets so you see what happened. The very first one, did you see the SOFA security threat report on Android malware? And they give the link. Here are 3 steps for dealing with malware. Step 1, wait for your Android phone to get infected with malware. Step 2, recover from SMS scam bill shock. Step 3, skip steps 1 and 2, buy a Windows phone and connect with people you care about instead of some hacker plotting in a dank basement.
Wait,
Really.
can I just, the very first step, wait for your phone to get infected with malware? It's like, if I just leave this around, is it gonna get infected? Is that like a
Absolutely
thing?
not.
And I'm pretty sure that most malware for Android is from people going through outside proper channels to get
Chinese
apps.
app stores. It is such bullshit that Microsoft even said this.
I mean, step 1. I agree with Josh Bryson. Step 1, stop pirating apps from Chinese websites.
Yeah.
The end. Like, I think that's pretty much how it goes.
So their final one was, do you have an Android malware horror story? Reply with Droid Rage with your best worst story, and we may have a get well present for you. So, of course, I pinged Jerry real quick. I'm like, dude, this isn't going to end well.
No.
And, I'm not going to read our tweets maybe I was a little hard on them. I don't know.
No, you weren't.
Windows.
I mean, I want to
particularly proud of
live in hell from them. It's just
I was
ridiculous.
watching Sons of Anarchy with my wife, and I came back in here after a while, and I was like, "Ooh, I got to send something else out." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, been gone a little while. Had to reboot the PC." Oh, that was too easy. Too easy. No, it started a whole thing. There's this new Droid Rageous Twitter account that's retweeting everybody's stuff,
which is so like.
My problem with this whole thing is that I like Windows Phone. It's not a bad alternative. It's really not. It's not Android. It's not as good as Android. I saw somebody else say on Google Plus, Phil's got one foot out the door. No, I don't. And
people say that about me with iPhone too.
I know.
It's just silly.
Like, don't be an idiot. I'll talk for me. Thank you. But I like Windows Phone as an alternative. I think Microsoft and I used, this is not a secret. I used Windows Mobile before I started with Android, and I think Microsoft has come a long way with Windows 8, Windows Phone 8. It still has ways to go. It's not doing it perfect. Nobody does it perfect.
Yeah.
But this is just dumb social, whatever. And for all the good they've done, this didn't undo all the good that they've done over the past year. Absolutely not. But it was just stupid, and you interrupted my bottle of wine and Sons of Anarchy with my wife, and, there are going to be consequences for that sort of thing.
There are consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, if you interrupt Phil's bottle of wine, there's going to be problems. That's what the moral of this story is.
Yeah. God help me if they do it during Justified.
Yeah, Phil Rage. I agree. We got hashtag Phil Rage. That's what we need to start tweeting.
It was funny, but
no, I think this whole I have a problem with any manufacturer. Like, I don't really care for the Samsung commercials, these like iSheep commercials where they have the people waiting in line, because I feel like Samsung is insulting the very people who they want to buy their phones. And so I am not a huge fan of them, because I want to see what your phone does. I don't want to hear about what the other phone can't do. Like, for me, I want to hear about why your phone is great. I don't want to hear about why another phone is bad, because the thing is I'm not going to believe you. Like, just tell me what your phone does and how much it costs and where I can buy it.
Like, don't go negative. There was absolutely
don't go negative. There's no reason, because the 8X and the Lumia 920 are great phones. Like, there's no reason to go negative. They're good devices.
And Microsoft has done really well with the marketing so far. I thought the one in the bathroom was awesome. When they're like, you know what, put your damn phone down. Don't pee and talk on your phone at the same time. Not that I've ever done that. Ever. But it's funny, and it gets people's attention, and I really like that sort of approach, I guess. Exactly. And for me, it still goes back to my 6-year-old recognizes Windows 8 from the commercials, and then we were in a AT&T store when I bought this 8X, and she walked up and she saw them standing there on the wall. She said, "Daddy, it looks like Windows 8." Done. Microsoft is doing it right. Don't screw up the social side. That was just dumb. When a kid has product recognition, brand recognition, you are doing it right.
I'm going to get on the internet and order a Nexus 4 for Mia and save her from you, Phil.
I've got 3 here right now.
Well, one of them's hers. Damn it. Okay. That's just You got to stop, man.
My kids are so platform agnostic. It's awesome. They hop, between Android and iOS. I don't think they've tried Windows Phone 8, but Mia uses Windows 8 on the desktop, and it's so cute to see. It's really good. Should we do some emails and voicemails, and we'll get the hell out of here? I'll go drinking at a bar.
Love emails and
separately.
voicemails.
I like emails and voicemails too. So
I like the drinking at the bar part.
Let's do the voicemails first, if we can. And hey, by the way, if you're going to leave a voicemail, which is awesome, and I love it when people do it, try to keep it to like a minute, not 3 minutes, not 5 minutes, because I'm not going to play 5 minutes.
We had a 5-minute long voicemail on Tech Foolery last week from one of our beloved listeners about it was a Thanksgiving story, but it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. It was amazing.
Love everybody, but I'm not doing 5-minute voicemails. I'm sorry. And with that,
I also read the Google transcripts of their voicemails, so it's even better.
All right, let's start with Brian.
Hey guys, this is Brian in the South Bay area, California. I just had a quick question about the Samsung Galaxy S3. I'm wondering if you know, did I just miss it, or is it still coming? The inductive charger that was supposed to be available shortly after release. I thought I heard something about Verizon having one available, but I'm on Sprint, and I don't know if I'm assuming it's the same thing or whatever. But yeah, really like to have some inductive charging on it, and then I know it already has the connectors built in. I've even thought about doing the hardware hack where you can use a phone touchstone, but it takes a little bit more work than I'd prefer to do on my on-contracted device. So anyways, any input would be appreciated. Thank you.
You can do the official route if you want, but I tell you what, Brian, I'm in a good mood. I'm in the holiday spirit. I want to give stuff away. So I'm going to give you an already hacked battery cover for your Galaxy S3 and a Palm touchstone charger. How about that?
I'm calling the podcast email right now. I've been looking for a car.
No,
I know. My car is so broken down. Yeah,
so, Brian, email me, or I've got your phone number. Actually, email me with your phone number because I have your phone number from your voicemail. And, I'll get in touch with you.
Santa droid strikes.
Yeah. No, my wife picked it up the other day from our little hutch in the breakfast area. She's like, what the hell is this? It's like, it's a Palm Touchstone, baby. They're like worth $2 now. They're awesome. They were awesome, actually. Where the hell is the one for the Nexus 4, by the way? I know we've talked about this before, but I mean, they showed it to The Verge and then didn't really announce it.
I can picture this vault at the bottom of the campus in Mountain View, and it's like Capone's. When you open it up, there'll be one charger in it.
I told you how when I was in Korea, when we were at the production facility, they also have like a showcase where they just have like every LG product everywhere. And to get into that area, you had to have a retina scan. I mean, not us, but the woman who was in charge of showing us around. Yeah, like she scanned her eyeball, like James Bond. It was really cool. I'd never seen that.
I would love to work there. That'd be so cool.
Or at least she said it scanned her eyeball. I mean, you could fake it, and I'd never know the difference, right?
I want to work somewhere where we have retina scanning. That just seems awesome.
Cool is that? All right, let's do Tom's voicemail.
Hi, guys. Love the podcast. Listen to you guys every week. My name is Tom. And, excuse me, my question is my wife would like to get me a smartphone for Christmas. And I've done a lot of research on my own. And also, I'm a Verizon customer, and I am locked into Verizon due to family reasons. So I was wondering, well, first of all, what about the Galaxy S3? Or should I wait for the rumored S4 could come out next year? And Amazon.com has that S3 for $59.99 for 16 gigs. So I thought that was really a bargain. But my big question is an unlockable bootloader. And I'd really like to do something like that. And I heard another rumor that the Galaxy S3 doesn't keep the bootloader unlocked for long, and it reverts back or something like that. So, love the podcast. Bye.
So my Galaxy S3 still has an unlocked bootloader, or not unlocked. I think I have the engineering bootloader on it. Go to our forums; they'll walk you through it. It's not a big deal to do it. I would recommend it. TouchWiz is not for me. It is for some people, and that's fine too.
That's a cat. Everyone's asking if that's a cat or a baby.
Was that your cat? Yeah.
It's our 17-year-old cat who has dementia, and so he comes in from the outside and literally caterwauls in our kitchen as loud as humanly possible. Sorry.
So no, Tom. I think you can do it without problem if you want to do it. And by all means, do it. The guys in the forums will take care of you there.
Yep. And it doesn't roll back unless you do something silly and make it roll back yourself. It's not going to magically become locked again.
Exactly. So it's not just going to spontaneously do it.
Right.
Okay, let's do Onyx.
Hey, this is Onyx Black from the Android Central forums, and this is for the Android Central podcast. I wanted to know if you guys have noticed that a couple of features on Google Now haven't really been appearing lately. Like I remember in September, at the end of September, Google kind of surprised all of us with some random notification telling us how much we've walked in that month in comparison to the last month. I haven't seen that since probably September or October, and I just wanted to know, was there like a big hoorah about how creepy that was and why that feature is no longer there? All right, keep up the good work. Thanks.
Really good question.
That is a good question. Why? What's with the lack of Easter eggs in Google Now? Or maybe we just haven't unlocked them yet.
Well, no, not Easter egg, but they had that thing for like a week. It would say, "Hey, you've walked, 2 miles this week," and it wasn't very accurate. I have a feeling that's why they got rid of it.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I think it was maybe looking at where you live or work, and then kind of using using GPS or whatever location to figure out, hey, you're walking, you're going this fast, so here's how far you probably walked. Yeah, it's a little creepy, and yeah, it was pretty not accurate. So they just killed it. But good eye. That was a really good catch.
Yeah, I haven't even. Oh, it's funny. I hadn't even thought of that until I heard this voicemail, and I was like, "Oh man, right. What did happen?"
Of course, they replaced it with Ingress, which gets us fat asses out walking and standing in fields
and getting arrested.
Has anyone gotten arrested yet? Have you seen anything?
Somebody got held. Somebody got detained. I saw somebody post about it on Google Plus. They'd said that I guess there was a portal outside of a police station, and they had to, they're holding up their phone, and the cops came out and were like, "What are you doing?" And he was trying to explain it, but because he's like, it's a GPS based sort of game, and like they didn't believe him, and so they hauled him into the station and sort of, I guess, questioned him for
pointed at him,
however, like a few hours,
and gave him a wedgie.
Yeah. But I guess they held him for like 3 hours, and it questioned him about what he was doing and what was going on. And they basically held him on the Patriot Act and was like, "We can hold you here because this is a federal building and whatever." So yeah, they did not care for that. So just so you guys know, if you see a portal around a police station, be careful.
Yeah, the fire stations too. In my God,
maybe any federal or state, local owned government buildings, maybe not a great idea.
Everything here is blue, by the way, and like totally.
I've got one about 75 yards behind a big handwritten sign that says "Trespassers will be shot."
You've got one next to a strip club.
I know.
That seems like a great place for a portal.
Hit 2 of them in half.
Jerry's got it too good. All right,
last a place where strip clubs and historical sites can share the same building.
Where I come from, strip clubs are historical sites. All right, last voicemail from Chris.
Hey guys, this is Chris from Pennsylvania, and this is for the Android Central podcast. I was listening to this last week's podcast and noticed you guys made a couple comments on a few things that intrigued me. The HTC 8X that Phil's got, I was just curious as to what model he has, whether it's the Verizon or the AT&T model. I know you guys were talking about the wireless charging, inductive charging, and only currently the 8X on Verizon has that option. The AT&T, T-Mobile versions do not. So I know Phil has AT&T. Not sure which one he had the phone on. So, and then the second thing that I noticed, we keep talking about LTE on the Nexus 4, and I think for people that live in LTE capable areas, it may be a big issue. But for me, we live out here in the sticks, and we barely have any HSP 8+ service. We're kind of on the fringe for AT&T, and I certainly want to have LTE even in the city here close to me for maybe the end of the year. But my problem has been with LTE devices that, when they're on HSPA Plus or HSPA Plus fringe networks, they don't hold the signal very well, and the constant switching, and it's constantly looking for LTE. It seems like the phones are more dedicated towards LTE service. So for me, in my use case, a device without LTE capability is perfect for me, and Nexus 4 has been holding up just great. Love you guys. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, so mine is AT&T, and that's good to know. So those of you who worry about me jumping ship, obviously I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So. Don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere. Second half, Jerry, what do you think?
I'm not really sure, Phil. First off, what exactly he was asking him if they
when you're in
prioritized for LTE, right? I mean, is that where he was going with that?
You're in sketchy coverage. I mean,
yeah,
your battery's going to get zapped. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I would think that that's something they can fix with the PRL, because the PRL tells you what towers to connect. If you contact Verizon and you are consistently in an area and your battery gets killed because you're trying to connect to LTE and it's just not good enough to use, talk to Verizon. It sounds like something they can fix with a PRL update. They can change a setting somewhere and tell your phone, if you're at that area, don't try to connect to LTE anymore. But that's just a guess. I'm not sure how exactly they handle that.
It's a good question, and unfortunately, it's something some people are saying. There was a story that we were told at one of the HTC events I was at. We were talking about carriers and how OEMs, how manufacturers like HTC have to do weird things with radios sometimes, and how there was some regional carrier. You have all these tiny little regional carriers dotted all throughout the states, and how one of the big carriers, I think it was Sprint, had to pay something like $10,000, it might have been more, a month to this regional carrier so that it could say it had in roaming fees, so that it could say it had coverage. So there's this weird things that happen when you're in rural areas and are kind of hopping back and forth. So it can be really expensive too. But yeah, it can also kill your battery. So.
I think
that's the best part about having Sprint is you just don't have to worry about having LTE anywhere. You just shut it off because it doesn't exist.
You don't have to worry about having 3G anywhere either. But
yeah, exactly. I'm just on an extended network all the time. So great.
Let's do a couple emails and we'll get the hell out of here. Vladimir writes, my family's asking me what I want for Christmas. I want to tell them to get me Google Play gift cards. The reason is because my contract with my carrier is up in February and I want to purchase an Nexus 4 from the Play Store. My question is, can I use the Google Play cards to purchase hardware off the Play Store, or is it just for digital content only? You mean Google Play cards like these?
I knew that was coming. Phil is stripper rich in Google Play cards.
I am. I'm popping these in G-strings before the podcast is over.
I don't even want to know where you got those or how you got them.
As long as you're not asking about where I have a G-string. No, we're giving these away one every day for the rest of the month. So if you haven't done that contest yet, still plenty of time. No, you can only use them for digital content.
Yes.
Sorry.
No hardware. Sorry, dudes and dudettes.
All right.
Makes sense.
The next one?
I got it here. Larry writes, my understanding is that the Nexus devices are not meant to be super phones or super tablets with state-of-the-art hardware, fastest speeds, best camera, best build quality, etc. But I think that the average customer, perhaps even the average Android Central reader, does expect the Nexus to be a super device. Do you think Google should yield to those expectations and require the manufacturers of Nexus devices to make them state-of-the-art super devices? No. Google, at this point, I mean, the Nexus program appears to have changed from what it originally was. And right now, Google should just make whatever they think they could sell and let developers have easy access to. I love what they did with the Nexus 4, $300, $325 or $45. Get them phones in the developers' hands. To me, that's the important part. Other people may feel differently.
No, I agree. I don't think Google is beholden to. I mean, I think they should listen to us, but Google has a plan, and it's following that plan. Google is a Cylon, basically, when you get down to it. No, they need to do what they think's right to better the platform. I think they're doing that, and they do this for a living. I don't. I just talk about it.
Well, and one thing, I mean, the Nexus 7, the Nexus 4, and the Nexus 10. What hardware is not state of the art? Name me a 7-inch tablet that has a better all-around technologically components inside, whatever word I'm looking for, or a 10-inch tablet, or a phone.
Well, and also for the price. I mean, the thing is people, like, for me, I mean, it's a matter of I don't think it's much of a compromise at all when you consider the components that are in these devices, these Nexus devices, compared to, or, in contrast with the price. I mean, the thing is, you can have a 1080p screen, or you can have, you can have these things, but do you want them if that means you're paying a premium for what's in there? And it's like, does it really matter? And for me, using the Nexus 4 or using the Nexus 7, it's like, I don't need these specific things that people, are saying that are trying to claim are like, the state-of-the-art things. For me, it's more of like, this is a great phone at a great price. It's a great tablet at a great price. And the compromise, quote unquote, that you're making in buying it is that, you're getting the best components and none of the fluff for that price. For me, that's what it's all about. That's what the Nexus program is for.
But here's the other thing. The Nexus 4, you got a state-of-the-art device.
Yeah, it's a state-of-the-art device. It's a great phone.
It's, the camera, I will totally accept. That is not necessarily, I hate to say state-of-the-art because that's a little subjective.
But I do believe that the hardware in the camera is state-of-the-art.
Right.
With really mediocre software on it.
Right. So that's different. The system on the chip, if you haven't gone back and listened to our talk with Brian Klug a couple weeks ago, this is state-of-the-art. This is an Optimus G. That's what it is. Don't tell me the Optimus G isn't state-of-the-art hardware. 1080p display that the DNA has, fine. I'll argue that all you want.
Well, that's nice, but it's, again, I feel like that's fluff. To me, 1080 on a tiny, 4 to 5 inch screen is not, I don't need that. I'm sorry. I don't see the reasoning for that. Like, the human eye, it can only, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, to me, it's not worth the extra money that it would cost to have that kind of screen, or to have, to have a camera that's like the Nokia camera with the stabilization on the inside, the housing. It's like, these things are not worth the extra money to me. I just want the phone to be solid and fast and keep me content. That's what I want. And that's, for me, the Nexus phone does that.
And for the price,
I mean,
it's amazing. Can't beat the price.
We want to be able to sit on the John and play Temple Run. And talk to people and text people. We don't need any more than we've got.
Well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big camera person. I love having a great camera, and that's probably why I tend to prefer. I mean, I don't love Sense more than I love stock, but at the end of the day, like, I make that choice based on, I want a really nice camera and I really like image sense, so I'm going to buy the Evo LTE as opposed to a Nexus.
Ashley, you got these open? You want to read the next one?
Yes, I will read the next email.
Sweet.
I got my Nexus 7 right here, just hanging out with it, talking on the Android Central podcast. Dan writes to us, oh, I love this question. Why don't companies like Samsung, HTC, Motorola, etc. build their phones with stock Android and then supply their UI as a launcher over Google Play?
because it's not a launcher.
It's not a launcher. It's not. It is a build of Android. It's an Android-based operating system. So It's not. We have to start thinking of it in these terms, because if we think of it in terms of, it's stock with a skin on it, at the end of the day, it's not really that. So it's their own operating system that is Android-based, just like you would have something that's Linux-based. It's kind of the same thing. For me.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's no better way to describe that. I mean, it's not a skin. I hate it. I hate it when people call these skins. Gizmodo did a big piece the other day about, what was the best skin or why things are skinned. They're not skinned. I mean,
it's an Android-based UX. Yeah.
And go back to what we were just talking about with HTC and this Google Now thing. I mean, if you want proof that it's not a launcher or not a skin, that's it. They went and monkeyed around in the internal workings of it, and suddenly something doesn't work. Now that sucks, but that also is proof that it's, much lower level than just how it looks. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Phil. So there is the news this week that Sony is going to allow you to flash stock on the Xperia. Is that a thing that you see manufacturers allowing us to do in the future? Like, as opposed to the unlock bootloader thing where they're like, okay, well, you can unlock your bootloader and root your phone. Like, why don't manufacturers give us the opportunity to say, go to their website? If we're an advanced user, why couldn't I go to HTC's website and flash my phone as stock because they offer that? Like, what, Sony's doing. So for me,
because the time and money and effort it takes the company to do something like that Sony is doing that, I think it's really cool. But I get that not everybody is going to be willing to do that or can do that. I mean, look, there's a finite amount of talent you can have to work on this stuff. I think what HTC did with its bootloader unlocking program is perfect. That's all they need to do. If they want to go above and beyond, cool. But as long as they give you the tools to unlock it, great. That's fine. Now, the problem we have here in the States is that the carriers get in the way. I mean, are we ever going to see a Droid in a developer edition Droid DNA? I don't know. I mean, look what happened with the Samsung Galaxy S3 developer edition on Verizon. And it took them forever to put it out. Did anybody actually buy it? I didn't wait to buy it. We've talked about this before.
Yeah. Well, it just took too long.
Yeah. So will HTC ever be allowed to sell a developer version, possibly with more memory with more storage than Verizon allowed on there? I don't know. Those of you watching the video right now. Winking.
I know, it feels like I just had a wink.
But I think, HTC's doing it the right way. Samsung has attempted to do it the right way. Motorola's been doing it the right way. Sony's been doing it the right way. Where's the holdup? It's the carriers.
Yeah.
AT&T, Verizon specifically, I guess.
You guys suck. Carriers. I have lots of angry words about carriers that you can hear on my podcast.
Yeah.
They often involve 4 letters.
What are you typing, Jerry?
I am talking. You'll see.
I can feel it. I didn't have to look.
About broken Nexus 4s.
John writes, my HTC Incredible 4G, the storage space doesn't seem to make sense. So the phone has 8 gigabytes on the device. Now I have 1.42 gigabytes available, yet there's internal and phone storage. Under internal storage, there's apps, which is using 800 megabytes and says I have 250 available. Then there's the phone storage, which says I have 1.17. If you add them together and make sense of it all, available say. So why is it separated like that? Why does it not add up, Jerry? It's never added up, right?
Paraphrase Dan Morrill here. One of the reasons we moved away from SD cards is because manufacturers are making phones with different partitions and not giving anybody any app space. There you go.
It's just crazy. I mean, this whole partitioning thing is just, it's insane. Sorry. It's an insane thing. I don't even know why it's happening.
This right there is why Google does not natively support SD cards. That was the exact reason given by the people who write Android.
And why carriers need to not only have 16 gigabytes of storage on a phone.
Right. Now, there's nothing, I mean, it's HTC in this case, but my money would be on Samsung to be the people that could fix it because Samsung just has a bigger operating budget.
Right.
There are ways to easily support an SD card more natively than is done now, but it's going to require some real engineering and real software development. And that's where we need to go with that, and that satisfies everybody.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Finally, Jason writes, my name is Jason, which I just told you is Jason. CRF on the forums. With AT&T on HSPA and Verizon Sprint on CDMA, is LTE the same between the three carriers, or is it different like 3G? So is the LTE network on Verizon different than the LTE on AT&T? From an end user perspective, it's all fast. From a technical point, yeah, it's different frequencies, so you can't just share, which sucks. And it's not just like that here in the States; it's like that all over the world. It's going to be a huge headache. It's going to be a big
because we ran out of spectrum, and now we're using the pieces that are left over.
So it sucks. It's the way it is. It's going to be a mess. And that, boys and girls, is the podcast.
I'm so sad it's over already. That is not what she said, but I am sad it's over already.
We got to do it again. We will do it again.
We have to. Please have me back. Like, don't let me cry on Thursdays. I listen to the podcast and I cry the whole time. Like, I don't get in the chat room because I'm just like sobbing all over my computer.
You curl up in a ball and what they call me.
I'm like, I never get the call. And I work in Hollywood, so rejection is really hard for me. That's how it is.
What are you talking about? You work in Hollywood. I thought people were used to it out there.
I work at home. Are you kidding me? No, it is. Rejection is a requirement. If you want to live in Southern California or work in the entertainment industry, rejection is like a part of your everyday routine.
You wake up in the morning and somebody's standing over your bed and you're just like, good morning. They say no.
Yeah, no.
It's a beautiful day. No.
No, actually, you wake up, and you yawn, and you're like, oh, it's a beautiful day. And then all of a sudden, a casting director runs into your bedroom and says, you're too fat for this earth, and then runs out of your house. And then that's how you start your day every day. It's the most ridiculous. I hate it. It's absolutely insane.
It's kind of like working online, now that I think about it.
It is. LA is a mean place. It's a mean place to live.
All right. With that, be sure to email us. Podcast at androidcentral.com. You can get us all on Twitter at Android Central. I am at Phil Nickinson. Jerry is at GBHIL. Ashley is at Ashley Esqueda. But even better is just get us on Google Plus because that's what's going on. Search for our name.
Totally.
We're all there. We've got these new communities set up. I don't totally get it. It's like instead of circles,
Facebook groups.
Community of whatever.
Which seems like a terrible idea.
There are like 500 Android groups already. Jerry and I are like, should we do Android? We'll be all sneaky. And then we look at it and they're like, hey, look at all these Android.
Can I plug my podcast?
Absolutely.
If you would like a podcast filled with gadgets, swearing, and weird news, you can go to techfoolery.tv, and that's my podcast, and I host it with the illustrious and very British James Bricknell, and it's a lot of fun.
I miss our British guy. Where's our British guy, Jerry?
You said he was not feeling well tonight, didn't you? A little under the weather?
Yeah, we'll get him back next week. I hope. I promise.
He needs a spot of tea
and a crumpet
and 4 fingers of good old-fashioned Kentucky bourbon. Fix you right up.
Alex is coming to Vegas in January with us from CES.
Hot toddies.
Ashley's going to get beat down. That's
I'm excited.
Alex is awesome. If you haven't been,
I love the Brits. Like when people tell me the red coats are coming, I get excited because I want to hug them.
Like Alex isn't an unworldly guy, but he's still a little innocent, a little bit, I think. So it's fun. Like
Vegas will be perfect for him.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. Oh, as we are every week, we are brought to you by shopandroid.com. That is shopandroid.com. You can call them at 888-468-6158 if you prefer to do the phone thing. By the way, we got the Andy Splat t-shirts in a whole bunch of different sizes. You know those cool little, what are they called, Andrew plugs? Little bug droid looking USB plugs. So we got those in a bunch of colors now. You can go get them as well. In fact, that's hot off the presses tonight. Just found out. So go buy stuff. My kids need a new pair of shoes. It's holidays.
Oh, I see all these phone tripod mounts.
I know. Oh, do we have tripod mounts?
When did we get those in?
Damn, nobody tells me about this stuff. Yes. All right, I'm going digging through the store. I'm going to find cool stuff to give away the next couple weeks. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at that same number, 888-468-6158, extension 222, or you can email it to us. Record it on your computer. Email it. Sounds even better, which is awesome. Jerry, Ashley, thank you. Ashley, Jerry, thank you.
Thanks.
Phil, Ashley, thank you.
Phil, Jerry, thank you. Jerry, Phil. Everyone in the chat room, thank you.
Yes, chat room.
You guys are the best.
That's it. We're out of here. See y'all next week.
Bye.